In the top right of Beckett Industries to start things off. He represents Dragons, Phoenix, and Gamers. Give it up for ZEST. And his opponent. Down here in the bottom, he represents the Shopify Rebellion. Let's see if he can rebel against the Protoss. He is BYUN. Looks like chat was right. We are going to see a little bit of a proxy, but it is instead going to be the gateway proxy here. As we do see ZEST dropping on down. That gateway right in BYUN's face before coming on in to be a little bit of a annoying probe. Now the big question is, how heavily is a ZEST going to commit to this? We should see at the very least one Zealot and one or two Stalkers, maybe an Adept. But I think the biggest question is necessarily going to be, oh my god, First Blood. Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious as to what the follow-up is going to be here. We do have the Cybernetics Core going down before that Nexus, so that does tell me that this is going to be very, very difficult for BYUN to kind of hold off against, but he's already going to be playing it very, very safe, even though he hasn't seen it, by building that third natural CC on the high ground. Sorry, I was having a really bad coughing fit. That's why I was muted. But we do have the follow-up here. The Nexus is down. The gateway is here. And yeah, I doubt that ZEST is going to do too much behind this. I think he did do enough damage early on to kind of justify standing back and kind of just defending against a follow-up from BYUN. But yeah, I think that's actually going to be the best option for him, as we do have the kind of follow-up getting ready for a tank push coming on in for BYUN. I'm not going to die, Overlord Den. Not before the series ends, anyway. So now the biggest thing that BYUN has to be worried for is we do have the follow-up Colossi gonna be on the way. So with that, BYUN is very heavy in the Marine count right now. So those Colossus are going to be able to do massive amounts of damage. So if he does decide to attack, his window is going to be closing very, very quickly. Because once you get up to 2 Colossus, you need Marauders or Vikings in order to fight efficiently. I respect the hustle, but no, you're not getting in there. ZEST, I think this is kind of ZEST's big strength here. Just take a look at all the vision he has out on the map. He's got observers covering every single corner. He has his units consistently in position, and he's just making it very difficult for BYUN to even think about moving out here. Keep in mind as well, BYUN is going up to his 4th and 5th racks before 3rd CC, so he is looking to not necessarily be all in, but he's gonna really put the pressure on himself to do damage. And look at that, Zest just making sure that he can't get into this very nice siege tank positioning down here with his army. But you know what? One thing I would like to see, utilize this area, because that area is just ripe for drop play, and it's not really being covered super efficiently here by Zest. Those Colossi trying to fight on their own. Don't really have a lot of support here other than a couple of Zealots, but BYUN is very content to kind of bait him into the siege tanks here. Force field does go down, doesn't really get a lot. And those siege tanks getting some absolutely massive hits. Absolutely beautiful. So now BYUN rotating around. Zest is in position. It's relatively simple to defend the high ground, but BYUN is really looking to make this work. He still doesn't have a 3rd CEC. He stims on top of the army. The gateway units do take a couple of siege tank shots, but the Colossi stand true. The shield battery might be out of energy, but he has an overcharge available, I'd imagine. Dept getting a little bit of scouting information. We'll let that finish. So these siege tanks going to get repaired up. So yeah, BYUN, he can't afford to go home, but he can't break through with just pure marine. Unfortunately, that's all he can really afford to make. Again, he's all in. At this point, I'd say just drop the SCVs, bring them in, because he just stims in. But unfortunately, that does leave himself open to a big counterattack of Zealots in the backfield. Good focus fire is going to mitigate some of that friendly fire damage, but again, it's just only Marines, only a couple of tanks left, and that is going to be it for game number 1. I can definitely agree with what chat is saying right now. You got to pull the boys. There we go. Yeah, I definitely agree that if you're going to do that, you got to pull the boys a little bit quicker there. And there wasn't a lot of force field energy, so fighting in that choke point wasn't necessarily a bad decision. So just having that little bit of an extra buffer would have been perfect. Zest, however, just really getting into his head early on, I'd imagine. And this time, not going to go for anything too crazy. Just going to get a little bit of a scout out. But actually, this probe, a little bit far away. Gonna be very interested to see what he decides to do there, but unfortunately, he is found by the SCV. Now a chase for the ages here as that probe does get to escape the Marine, just kind of confirming that there is nothing crazy on his side of the map. Now, Zest is a player who does prefer to go for the Twilight Council, so I have no reason to assume he will do anything different here. Just kind of waiting for the tech to go down. The first Adept is out. The second Adept is on its way. I mean, BYUN's just kind of powering up back at home. There you go. Twilight Council. So now we have a little bit of a calm before the storm here, as I believe Zest is going to be going for Blink. Keep an eye on the amount of gateways that he does decide to throw down, as if he throws down a fourth gateway, then he's going to attack. But if he only gets 3, then it's defensive. BYUN as well going to be going for Widowmine drops. He has had some success with this in the past. Even against a player like Zest, this can be a little bit difficult to deal with. Widowmine kind of just burrowing, expecting an Oracle, expecting anything to come on in. There you go. 2 additional gateways on the way. The Robo facility is out as well. I mean, this is going to be a little bit dicey here. BYUN needs to recognize the fact that Zest is going to be coming across the map soon. We do see that one Hellion kind of just shooing around looking for the third base. The fact that he doesn't see it as well is a pretty big tell. The War Prism is on the way. BYUN spots the Robo facility. We'll be able to get a couple of workers here, but the Hellion will get deflected in the backfield. So now it's all hands on deck back at the Blue Terran's base. As we've got siege tanks, we've got a Raven. We've got everything that he needs to defend this attack. Okay, a little bit of additional scouting here. Just sees the Stalkers are ready to go. I believe he did see the War Prism as well. So that is a pretty big indicator to him here. How many units does he have? Okay, so he currently only has 1 siege tank here. So he's going to have to be very decisive about where to place it, as well as just be very careful to not get it sniped. Looks like the second one is down as well. The bunker will fall. Zest is taking as good a fight as he can right now, but we'll have to blink out of there before taking too much damage to that siege tank. Back at home, I believe yeah, that Raven did come in and get a little bit of damage done. Did he just lose it? No, he didn't, but yeah, the auto turret getting 6 probes here, which does make Zest a little bit antsy. You can kind of see he's taking a bigger risk than he necessarily should, as we do have another big attack going into the main base. Gets the supply depot, supply blocking BYUN for just a little bit of time. Not really able to get on top of the minerals, though, which is the big goal. So now Zest, transition in progress here. He's got the Robo Bay on the way to either go for the Colossus or the Disruptors. And indeed, it is going to be Colossi, as he's also trying to get up a third base behind all of this. Now, I think it's pretty important to mention that not getting that third base up in a relatively easy time does mean BYUN might be able to kind of take advantage of that fact. BYUN actually starts his base at the same time, but he also has 3 racks production right now with 2 Marauders at a time. That's kind of really good. Oh no, ZEST. A very nice little pickoff right there. ZEST does lose the Warp Prism, which does kind of get rid of a lot of that harassment potential here for him. And now BYUN with a 20 army supply advantage. Even taking a look at the income, he is shooting ahead here, 500 at a time. Small little drop as well. And gonna get a ton of damage in here. BYUN is just all over the place, and I am loving it. Distracting the main army so that he can get position over here by the third. The Stalkers trying to get on top of the siege tanks, but they will not be able to do so. So ZEST gonna try and pick off the reinforcements here, but things are going from bad to worse. Stalkers trying to make their way forward, but now going to go for the wraparound here. A lot of these units are back at home. The shield battery overcharge, the one thing keeping him alive here, but even that's not going to be enough. He's not fighting in range of it. The Stalkers do manage to get most of the siege tanks, and he will be able to clean this up. But at the end of the day, that was a very Pyrrhic victory for him there. Yeah, BYUN just killing off so many units during all of that. 62 blinks were used in the course of that game. So now BYUN going for the killing blow. He's got a 30 army supply advantage. He's got so much going for him right now. There's not that much force field energy, but the ones that he does get, trying to block out as much of this army as possible. The siege tanks are in position, and they will start shelling away at this. The Zealots still don't have charge, and they will fall. The overcharge has been popped, but unfortunately this is just a little bit too much firepower. Now with that shield battery overcharge gone, you got the Raven doing a bit of work just denying the mining at that base. And here we go. Guardian shield was popped and dropped. A good concave gonna mitigate a lot of that Colossi damage, and as those fall, GG is instantaneous. Now a gas first here from BYUN kind of does tell me that he wants to kind of tech up a little bit faster than the previous couple of games. ZEST once again just being a little bit of a nuisance here, trying to block potentially that second assimilator, but BYUN doesn't really care about that position. And there you have it. Factory comes down very quickly. Not going to waste time getting a Reaper, as a lot of Terran players have kind of decided that getting the Reaper first in this matchup on a map like this isn't really cost efficient, because it's very rare that you really get all the information that you need, because the Reaper is out so necessarily early. Especially when you do kind of see that your opponent is going for Cybernetics Core first, getting that first couple of Adepts out, it's just not really worth it. So getting that extra factory, or getting that factory up early, does mean that he can get out Hellions early on. He can get out Widow Mines very quickly. And I mean, I gotta be honest, I would not mind seeing him go for Hellion drops. Granted, he doesn't even have the minerals to do so right now since he is getting his natural CC. So ZEST is going to have a little bit of a quick time getting that Stargate up. Trying to hide the Hellions, but I think at this point, ZEST does know what's going on. And honestly, this is pretty good for him since he is going Oracle. This three Adept Oracle style does kind of shut down the Hellions pretty hard. Deciding whether or not to go in. Before recalling, he does decide to kind of keep these guys alive for a little bit longer. Once he kind of keeps them... once he kind of syncs these up with the Oracle, he can do quite a bit of work with them. The Hellions trying to make their way in. We'll get one of the Adepts. The second one will start to fall. Now, remember, it does take 3 shots to one-shot the probe. So now with only 2 Hellions, they're not going to get as much damage. But they do force this Oracle to expend so much energy. And they also allow BYUN time to get that Viking out. So now this Oracle's not going to be very effective at all. You can kind of see it has no energy for the pulsar beam. And should get shooed away here relatively easily. It's Buddy as well. No recalls available, so that's going to take quite a bit of damage. I gotta say, this is actually a really good start here for BYUN. Now, bear in mind, ZEST is not behind by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, he is going to be a little bit more aggressive with these Stalkers, getting the Cyclone. Very nice little pick-off there. But he just doesn't really have the ability to kind of push his way in here, although he is going to try. I don't know about this. All right, 4 workers going down. Nice little comeback right there. If we kind of take a look at the income tab. It's going in ZEST's favor. What is this build from ZEST? This was a triple adept. Triple adept into triple oracle here. The SCV's not in time to get rid of the bunker. This Stalker's just a little bit too much. But here we go, looking to copy paste another victory here to close this series out. Spawning in the bottom right position of Lightshade. Give it up for ZEST. And his opponent up here in the top left, he is our blue Terran player, BYUN. And already the mind games have begun. The fact that ZEST does have this very fast scout is pretty crucial for him here, seeing the fact that it is going to be fast factory. A little bit of a mistake from BYUN right there, pulling off a lot of workers to the gas before getting them back on production. Hopefully BYUN's not feeling a little bit tilted in this series. But here we go. We are going to get the Reaper this time, so that is going to help out a bit, especially since ZEST is building that defensive Zealot. I don't know about you guys, but one thing I do know is that Zealots usually don't beat Reapers unless you're not paying attention in Diamond League. I'm loving this as well. Like, ZEST has no idea what's going on, and BYUN is just keeping it rolling with the factory even in a strange position. So from here, he can do a couple of different things. One thing that BYUN likes to do is go for that Marauder push, which we kind of saw Gumiho do on the last series versus ZEST, where you just get concussive shells, you just get a ton of Marauders, and you just kind of push your way that way. Or hell, even going for... Oh god, is he going Mass Cyclone? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Recomposing myself here. So there's a couple of different things that can happen here with Mass Cyclone. Obviously, you can do... you can get that Magfield Accelerator, and it's very quick to kind of kill a ton of units. Just a little bit of supply block right there. But yeah, with that Magfield Accelerator, with like 4 or 5 Cyclones, you can do quite a bit of work in the early game. But ZEST kind of recognizing that something is up, will be going straight up to the Robo facility, meaning that he will have Immortals, which is the natural counter to anything that comes out of that factory. By the way, he's never seen this, by the way. Looks like, though, BYUN is not going to go super aggressive with this, only getting 2 Cyclones out before switching on over. Probably going to get a Raven started here. There we go. I gotta admit, I have no idea what the heck is going on here. I guess BYUN is kind of just winging it, freestyle right now, and we'll have to see if it's going to do too much for him, as ZEST does have plenty of units to kind of defend. Nice pickoff right there. He will be able to get out with the Cyclone as well. Got to be careful not to lose these, as these are pretty much the only damage dealers he has out on the map. Oh, he sees that, by the way. There is no way BYUN did not see that. Both players still only on 2 bases right now. Neither side really looking to go up to a third just yet. ZEST is banking up quite a few minerals as well, but he's getting his transition into Colossi as quick as you please. I'm really just wondering here when BYUN decides to start his third base as well. This is live. Teddy G. Yeah, we have literally at this time locked these guys in a room and told them that if they do not play StarCraft 2, they will not get to eat this week. So, yeah, this is as live as it can get. BYUN still trying to show himself out on the map, showing that, hey, you can't just tech up, you can't just siege up as you would like. I am going to be out here, and I am going to pick off any unit that you find. We do see a pretty nice attack coming on in. Keep in mind, there's not a lot of energy for force fields on these guys. Only 1 available. Scan going to go down as well. They are way out of position here, and that is only 1 Colossi. Shield battery gonna heal the other shield battery, but the siege tanks are in position. There is a lockdown available for this Colossus if he so chooses. And so BYUN is just gonna be quite content. He doesn't even really necessarily need to move in aggressively, as this position does mean that he's gonna be able to kill this Nexus quite easily. Very nice. So now, BYUN, he doesn't really need to hold this location anymore. He can rotate around, but he will have the reinforcements joining on in with this army. So he is going to continuously look to push the issue here. As he does just kind of keep an eye on this. Sees that there's 2 Colossi. Before kind of rotating around. There we go. So no shield batteries available at this base just yet since the pylon was not done. Charge is about to complete. BYUN is up 1 upgrade right now. As the Raven kind of just keeping himself ready to go. We do see the run by from ZEST. He's either going to go for the surround or the counterattack. And it looks to be indeed a counterattack. He's got to kill some units on that 3rd base. He's got to get rid of this 3rd. As he has just lost his own Nexus once again. Here we go. Guardian Shield has been popped, but quickly does fall. One of the Colossus does go down to the lockdown for a little bit, so it will not be joining the fight. And these Colossus are taking massive amounts of damage. The focus fire is relatively decent from BYUN, making sure that he doesn't hit his own units. But that was a very Pyrrhic victory for ZEST there, losing quite a bit of his army. Kind of take a look at that. That big dip did occur. The Colossus doing what it can with the War Prism support, but BYUN is already on the warpath right now. He's got that 3rd base economy draining ZEST dry as he's consistently having to remake his 3rd himself. And you know, he's being a little bit passive here. Oh my god, got the War Prism. Beautiful right there. Now gonna rely on the Archons. He doesn't have Storm, so he needs just something to kind of mitigate some of this damage. The shield battery is pretty far back. It is overcharged, but BYUN is baiting him out of range. The one C check in the fact just wailing away on this, and even though BYUN is kind of being forced back here, again, he's just crushing through a lot of ZEST's army, forcing him to remake the gateway units, forcing him to kind of be passive in how he decides to attack. Now ZEST, he will kind of survive for a bit, and this is still a really scary army for ZEST to contend with. So that's why you can kind of see he's staying back and regrouping himself, because he does not want to throw this away. Taking a look at it. Yeah, he's still only on 5 racks right now. You would think that at this point he would add on probably 7, go up to about 7 to 8. Just to make himself a little bit more feasible. So he can remake this army and continuously trade out like he's been doing. But I digress on that point as, yeah, we've kind of stabilized here. ZEST is going up to 4 bases. Scan going to go down looking for the observers just to make sure that his army can kind of move in unopposed. ZEST's army is pretty spread out right now as well. As BYUN going to be going for another big attack. 116 to 82 in terms of that army supply. The workers still a relatively low econ game, all things considered. As BYUN is almost all in on 3 bases. Yeah, we don't even have an armory, I don't think. So there is no +2 attack anywhere near for BYUN. He's stuck in the mid game. A good EMP gonna blanket the Stalkers. That will help. But he is going up against a +2 attack from ZEST. The Vikings just gonna siege right on up. Get on top of those Colossi. Getting it right on top of the Templar Archives as well. We'll be able to kill that off. A big surround from ZEST. The Vikings shelling away at the Colossi. All the ghosts get caught up here on the high ground. This is still a relatively equal fight as the Zealots now being the last line of defense. The Colossi are gone. The Immortals are dead. And BYUN, at the end of the day, stands firm. GG is called. And so it all comes down to Romanticide. This is kind of the quintessential map number 5, as you can get a standard macro game, but I mean, why would you want to? As BYUN, we've seen that, again, while he will take a third base, he wants to crush through his opponent. He does not want to waste any time. And it looks like ZEST is exactly the same way right now. Cybernetics Core is very, very quick. And that does tell you all. Void Rays on the way. So now BYUN, he needs to see this. This is pretty much one of the builds that you need to scout in order to defend. You need to start Cyclones. You need to start Vikings. You need to start anti-air. And you need to do so very, very soon here, as that is a very fast Stargate. BYUN, however, has no idea as to what's coming his way. He's going to get the reactor, which is a good start, as he will be able to pump out Marines, but I don't know, Kev. This is going to be a very dicey situation for him for a long time. I do like how the command center is in the main base already, though, so he's not going to lose that relatively easily. So if he can kind of survive, if he can keep himself safe, he's going to be ahead economically. I don't know about you guys, but last time I checked the patch notes, Hellions don't shoot up. Oh, ZEST, he's got to be feeling really good about this right now. After seeing that Hellion, the Void Ray has been revealed, and I think that actually just might be it. The Adept making its way in. The Void Ray just crushing through the couple of Marines that have come on in. The Hellion trying to bait some of the shots out. The Widowmine will be able to keep that Void Ray back for the time being, but I mean, at what cost here? Just barely getting out of range. The Widowmine does not get to burrow. One Viking will be nice, and ZEST is really far forward, so if you can kind of kite these units a little bit here, which he is able to do, he should be able to stay alive a little bit longer. But yeah, I don't know. Supply depot goes down. He's gonna have to force the supply depot dropped right there. That is 16 supply that is about to fall. And with that death, BYUN, he put up one hell of a fight. But it's gonna be death by 1,000 cuts. I think he does get a Void Ray though. Just being a little bit too eager beaver there. And focus fire down the bunker does get the cancel off. Another Void Ray does fall. These shield batteries are running out of energy. So BYUN looking for his chance to break out. But you got to be very careful going down that ramp. The SCVs just repairing to their heart's content, doing whatever they can. Void Rays are actually starting to get relatively low here. I think ZEST is maybe being a little bit too aggressive with them, but at the end of the day, the Stalkers are the real star of this show. The Vikings do land to take out the Stalkers. 6 SCVs have gone down as well. More have been pulled. Actually, you know what? I think BYUN is actually starting to hold. Granted, it's not the best situation for BYUN, but still, ZEST has no nexus. He has no follow-up to this. He is all in. Only just now is he going to try and go for the Twilight Council follow-up, but all the Vikings survive. Oh my god. Now even going to follow up with the siege tank, feeling secure on the high ground. And even though he is losing SCVs, remember, he is still ahead in terms of that SCV count. He has mules to bump up that income. And now he can kind of one-shot this last Void Ray. I'm not going to lie, now I'm actually really liking BYUN's chances. If he wanted to, he could start Stim as well. That would kind of be a nail in the coffin here, but ZEST, kind of realizing the writing's on the wall, does drop down his own natural. Yeah, just beat it. Micro Jackson. You know you got stalkers outside of your base. You don't want... I don't know. I can't sing. But here we go. The pylon does go down. The shield battery is out, so this Void Ray has to be very, very careful with itself. But it is not so. And as, yeah, ZEST, this is most of his tech on this side of the map. Keep in mind, he only has one gateway back at home. So BYUN is now able to set up here on the natural. He's able to saturate that very quickly. He's up 10 workers. DTs are nice. They're a way to get back into it. As is the blink coming on in. The siege tanks a little bit out of position for that. Oh, wants to go for the Raven. Blinks right on top of the siege tanks, and that is kind of the last-ditch effort here from ZEST as those stalkers go down. GG is called.